Hey guys, Shadowhunt005 back with a brand new video, and over the weekend we received a new Pokemon Presents, and something that took me by surprise and took some others by surprise from what I'm to understand is that Pokemon are releasing a brand new game, the 9th generation Pokemon game, main series Pokemon games, towards the end of this year. Yeah, so over the weekend, Pokemon announced that they would be releasing 2 new games towards the end of the year, Pokémon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. So in today's video, I wanted to have a relook at that trailer and see what we can break down from it and what we might be able to expect, what we already know, and go through that. So one thing that I already like with this is the fact that they've gone with this security guard going through a building. It very much reminds me of the original red and blue trailers and some of those older trailers. Okay, so we already had the 2 primary colors, purple and red. Or Violet and Scarlet. It's interesting that they actually show that this is made by Game Freak in that way, in just that sign. And then we see the security guard entering this room, and I'm sure there are lots of Easter eggs within this room. I don't know how we could break this down. Was that... I may have seen yeah, there is definitely a Great Ball. Yeah, there's a Great Ball, Ultra Ball, and maybe a Pokeball by there. I don't know whether this web symbol may be anything. Could be in relation to maybe how Pokeballs were made and that. Looking at this board over here, I can't really make out any good details. Maybe we can figure something out from that in the future. Now, one thing in particular are these 2 shields. Well, you can only see one by here as the door closes, but that will become a point that I come back to later in this video. So the first scene we get of the game, and yes, it does say gameplay footage is not final, but immediately we are brought into this open world sort of city in the middle, kind of like a castle. So that's already got me thinking some sort of... Well, we've already had Kalos and we've already had Galar, but Galar. But this reminds me of those 2 regions quite significantly. Like, this is going to be some sort of region that may be near those 2, possibly. At least if we look at the Pokemon world in representation to our real world, where you look at the real world representation of Kalos being France and Galar being England, Britain, and could look at those 2 as close together. But this whole sort of castle-like appearance, very much, if we hadn't had Galar and we hadn't had Kalos, I would say this is some sort of either French or British representation in the Pokemon universe. What's also interesting is this large mountain in the back right. Lots of snow-capped mountains, so that's going to be where we're going to get our ice types, I guess. And we have a nice rainbow, which, you know, looks... visually, it looks very nice. Then we go into this sun setting on this like open lake and possibly the ocean further away. Now, this already has me feeling that, and I'm pretty sure this has been confirmed, that this is going to be an open world game, much like Legends Arceus, so I hope it is. Now, this scene is interesting in particular. It reminds me very much of Galar, Sword and Shield again. You got this tower. It very much reminds me of Hammerlock from Galar, from Sword and Shield. Although we don't have that industrialness that we had from the Galar region. Here we get another open area with these windmills. Funny windmill looking like buildings, and again looks to be an open area going into that open world, which Pokemon did really well with the wild areas in Sword and Shield in my opinion, and have done well with moving that into Pokemon Legends Arceus. So let's see how they progress that in newer games. Now this is what I find interesting. We see what is now referred to as the Cantonian Meowth. We'll get back to why that is important later on, but as I say, if this was supposed to be a Galar region or somewhere near Galar, you would expect that to be a Galarian Meowth, possibly. And then straight after that Meowth, we have the Stonjourner, which obviously featured first time in Galar in Sword and Shield. These designs for Pokemon, then they're not new, but they are updated models. This Viper is actually really cool. How you've got that scale effect on it, actually looking more like a snake than any representation we've had previously. And I mean the shine on this Magnemite. It's cool that these Pokemon are getting these newer graphics to make them look more realistic to our sense. You know, metal should be shiny, snakes should have scales. Now this is cool. This ring around the main plaza looks as if it's got all the types, all the Pokemon typings. So this building in particular looks to be where the trainer might be starting. I reckon this might be our professor's home. Now, one thing in particular that has piqued my interest is these look like oranges and pumpkins, and lots of, well, on this side in particular, there are orange fruits, and that makes me think possibly that this is going to be the Scarlet version of the game. And again, when I get back to Shields, I'll get back to why I feel that this could be in both versions of the game, but I feel that this is Scarlet, or at least, if this gameplay, it might be Scarlet, and that these oranges have more significance in them. This very small scene here is also quite cool because we have just on this right hand side, we have what is potentially the map or part of the map of this new region, and these blue dots possibly being the towns of this region, but there's not enough information. There does look to be like some sort of Great Lake, maybe some deserty area where we could get ground types, but there's just not enough information there to really say much more, although it does look kind of square. And again, we get just enough details so that we know that it comes back up just on the right here on this scene, so it's got at least 2 sides, possibly coming up to 3 sides surrounded by ocean. And then we come back to the real world perspective with the garden room. And here comes the fruit representation. We see on the table there are some grapes and there are some oranges. and then directly after this we see these two shields on the sides of the door. So these two shields look a lot like the shields from Pokemon Sword and Shield, but if we start with this right one, it's quite clear that that is showing grapes, and given the fact that Pokemon Violet is on the right hand side, when you look at the look at the promo picture for the trailer, you see that the Violet is on the right, and grapes are violet, so it's a good representation that that is the Violet game. But this left one, on the other hand, has me a bit divided. See, thinking of Scarlet, I think of red, yet what we're seeing with that image looks to be some sort of segmented fruit. Now, immediately you would think Scarlet, we're looking at fruit, you'd think apple. And that's where I thought at first, but seeing that it's got these 6 segments, the fruit that immediately comes to mind is an orange. So why is this game Scarlet and not orange? And as I say, going back to that table where we see the grapes and the oranges on the table, again, perfect representation of what we're seeing in the shield images. And going back to even further in the trailer to when we were looking at what I think is the professor's laboratory, we see those orange fruits, and in particular we see oranges. So it's interesting that that might represent this game. How this relates to a story, however, is I'm not sure. Like, are the legendary Pokemon gonna both be some sort of fruity grass types, maybe? Be interesting, because, you know, generally the legendaries, they represent the color of the game. And then as we come to the close of this trailer, we're introduced to our starters, and the art style that they've gone with very much reminds me of a mix between the art styles of Generation 1 and Generation 5. That duck in particular looking at Generation 5, the other two more towards Generation 1 or Generation 2. So who are they? So first we're going to look at the grass cat Sprigatito. I cannot pronounce that name, I have tried it several times in this video, but as I say, it is our grass cat. It's got a very interesting design, and I've already seen jokes about it, saying that it should stay on all 4 legs, maybe it'll become some sort of saber-toothed tiger sort of feline. It would be nice, and please don't let it stand on 2 legs like Litten's evolved form has done. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I don't want another Litten that's just grass type. Moving on to our fire type, we've got Fuecoco. It is a fire crocodile, so yeah, it's an interesting way to go about. You know, I remember for Alligator, Totodile line, you're looking at the water type, and then you've got Sandile, that's ground type crocodile. So it's interesting that they go with a fire type. But what I like in particular is it's that fruit design that they've gone with. If you have a look at it carefully, those hairs on its head look very much like stems, and its shape looks very much like a chili pepper. Given the fact that this game already has these fruit connotations to it, it's really cool that even their fire type has this sort of fruit-like shape to it, or, you know, chili pepper-like shape to it. And I mean, when you look at chili peppers and how hot they are, it kind of then seems to make sense. So that evolution line, I'm wondering whether it goes down the chili pepper sort of look at the design. And finally we come to our water duck Quaxley, and this one is probably my least favourite. Normally I go for water type Pokemon in my games. This one's going to be a hard choice between the fire and grass type because I'm not a fan of this water duck. It very much reminds me of the Gen 5 Duckling, and I would say it looks very much like just a redesigned Duckling. And I have seen comments on it being the Resistance Fighter duck. Whether that's because of the joke that all the water types in Pokemon come from military and weaponry, all the fire types come from the Chinese Zodiac, which again, I want to point out that I think this one will disprove completely. And I forget what the grass type one is, but as I say, I think the whole thing is ridiculous in the first place, and I think these three completely shatter that notion on what people expect with that. And as this trailer comes to an end, I think the biggest shock to me was the fact that this game is coming out later on this year. And the reason that's the big shock to me is at the end of last year we had Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and at the beginning of this year we had Legends Arceus. And given the fact that I consider those main series games, certainly Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, they are main series games, and you could say that Legends Arceus is a main series game, if not just a little bit spin-offy, but not too great a spin-off, in my opinion. It's just looking at the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and the fact that these two games are coming out the very next year, just took me a bit by surprise. I would think that they would give a yearly gap between these games. I mean, they've given gaps between previous games of at least a year, so this one just came as a bit of a surprise. But that's going to be it for this video. Over the next couple of days I will be re-looking at this trailer, looking at other screenshots that I've seen that have been released. There's already some interesting ones with regard to the Pokemon that you find in this one. For instance, there is a Hussein Zorok in one of the screenshots, so I'm going to be breaking into that. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are you really looking forward to Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet? What do you feel about this fruit, the veg, edible sort of concept that they're going with? And let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you aren't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and consider sharing with others who might enjoy this video. And until next time, see you guys.